Well, you've seen all of me.
Well, not your butthole.
Not yet?
Not yet. We have plenty of time. We're only 30.
Rob's right!
Oh. Buttholes.
There we go.
Yeah.
Gotta start with something weird.
Buttholes. Yeah.
Welcome back. And it's been a little bit of time. Believe it or not, we have 3 hours of footy we haven't even released yet.
That's right.
This is the Rob's Lounge. And
well,
what's funny is we talked about this is that last Monday or whatever it was. We started hanging out at 4:30.
Yeah.
We
4:30 p.m.
Yeah, 4:30 p.m. Yeah. We made the intro, which took us 2-3 hours. It doesn't look like that much, but a little bit of love and care in that shit, right?
It does. Honestly, the editing takes a little bit longer than people realize.
Yeah, it does. If you want to make it perfect, right? I'm talking about just the intro, making the intro, and then we did the what was it? Babes and Hunks, which hopefully you guys enjoyed. And we edited that. Yeah. It took over 4 hours. We have 100 views on that, by the way, which is awesome. Thank you guys.
Yeah, let's go.
For it's been out for 10 days.
What's our highest?
Almost second highest or third highest viewed thing, but it's about to be our highest.
The
highest right now is our original episode, which was 8 months ago.
Yeah. So this is going to surpass it,
and it took 4 hours, almost 5 hours to edit that. Granted, it's because we were talking half the time and we get sidetracked. But the point I wanted to make is that we ended up hanging out till 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah. We had to mentally make an effort to cut ourselves off.
Yeah. And the 3 hours we're going to release, which is the Rob's Lounge, it was from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And then so we did all that, all the editing, and then we did the Rob's Lounge from 3 to 6. And then we still hung out and talked for 2.5 hours, bro.
Yeah.
We got into the OJ verdict, and I was telling you about the
who was it? It was the
what was it? It was
the mass murderer.
Yeah.
He had
Ted Bundy.
We're
talking about Ted Bundy trial.
You introduced me to the Ted Bundy trial.
He didn't understand Ted Bundy was his own lawyer and was able to freely walk across and be his own lawyer. It was crazy. So just shit. That's how we roll. That's why we love this pod. Is that 16 hours, dude. Ain't no one else I'd ever hang out with. 16 hours. This is almost an entire day.
Well, bottom line is it's. If you can't tell now, we generally love talking to each other.
We love each other.
We do. We generally love each other. We're brothers. I mean, bottom line is, I'm thankful to be the best man at his wedding. I'm hopeful that he's going to be the best man at my wedding. So, no, it's.
Or we could just get married together and just have.
Well, no.
Sorry, Erica.
We're not that far in the future. Yeah.
All right. So Rob's Ranks. Episode number 2.
Is that what we're doing?
Rob's Ranks, yes. This one's a little bit more, not super serious, but you proposed this to me. So I want you to kind of break down what you think it is. It's going to be a top 5 list. Laws. Dictator. If we could change them.
So let me tell you where I got this from. Was Bill Burr. Are you familiar with Bill Burr?
Oh, yeah.
Comedian?
Yeah, great.
Yeah, so he has a podcast. It's the Monday Morning Podcast or something. I forget what he calls it, but I think he had something similar to this, where he asked the question to his viewers one time, if you were a dictator, and he's like, I love this, so that was a brief period, and I kind of gripped on that.
I liked it.
That was a great idea. So the idea is that if we became dictator of the United States tomorrow,
yes, what
were the 5 rules? This is the conversation you and I had privately. What were the 5 rules that we would 5 laws?
Yeah. Rules, laws.
Well, we're is a dictator.
Yeah, it don't matter.
It's the same thing.
And again, if you don't know what a dictator is, go back to school.
Well, someone that dictates every single rule.
We don't have that in this country, but it's someone that's all powerful, all in charge. It's almost like a king or a queen.
Sure.
Before they changed, those rules there. But
the idea with a dictatorship is that they're voted into power, where a king or queen is they're born into power.
Yes. So. But they can control whatever they want, whatever they say goes.
Yeah, so the idea it was more of a thought experiment between you and I. Maybe
it's fun. This is fun.
Like a month ago, right?
Yeah.
So we've had this conversation for quite a bit.
I've been tinkering with my list.
Yeah.
So, we ready to get into it? Our top 5?
Yeah, so
Five
as
laws.
Dictator of the United States in 2022, Rob Simmons' first law would be...
All right. Now, are these... I'm not going to really do mine in order because I don't feel like they're like... It's not like the hot guy, hot girl list.
Sure.
Just my first one. This is a big one.
Yeah, same with me.
This is if you're a pedophile.
Okay.
If you are convicted and charged with molesting children. Not necessarily like sending a picture to a child. I'm talking about touching kids, diddling kids.
Sure.
Okay, which for me and for you, we're both pretty aligned in this subject here.
We talked about this privately, and we had nothing
the worst kind of people.
We had nothing but the worst kind of
and you know, we both have nieces and nephews. We're not even, neither of us are fathers, by the way. Imagine if we were fathers. This would be even worse. We'd just say murder them.
Yeah.
I would say I want castration for these people.
So how
cut off their junk, dude. Both their junks.
But let me ask you this, because this is a very important question: is how would you dictate who is guilty and who's not? Because that
is a problem, right?
Because if you're pissing at like, let's say you're drunk and there's a bar right next to
that is not. That's called being a sex offender.
That's what I'm saying. So
which will come up later on my list, by the way. You just ruined that, you fucker.
Well, no, I think it's important to say
no.
That, right?
I'm not talking about sex offenders being castrated. I'm talking about you need to be
people that actually raped.
Molested a kid, touched a kid, like you were guilty of offending a child, right? Assaulting a child, not just by sending pictures, right? Like, which is also bad, right? If you send a picture to an underage girl,
I'm not going to.
I'm talking about you need to actually. That's the problem. Is that where's the line drawn? That's the issue with this law. But I'm saying it needs to be context.
I don't think it's where the line is drawn. I don't think there's a line that's drawn, right?
And now here's the issue,
I think it's
right?
Like what determines
the problem guilty. Is if a 19-year-old has sex with a 16-year-old, I don't think they should be castrated.
I think
I'm more talking about children.
No, 100%. That's what I'm saying. When you say where's the line drawn? Like that, I think that's where's the line
probably
drawn.
Anyone under 14.
Well, no, because that's a broad. Again, that's a broad thing because you could do.
Well, you get what I'm saying. Like again, if an 18-year-old in high school has sex with a 16-year-old, I don't consider that.
I agree.
I agree.
They're both in high school,
yeah.
Because they're both kids mentally,
right? So this is we have to kind of iron out the rules later, but.
So how do you determine intention? That's the thing.
Like the Jerry Sandusky's of the world. That's obviously an extreme case, right?
So what is his intention? Like how do you determine intent? Because right now the law is intention,
right?
Because if you're an 18-year-old in high school,
that's not
a 16-year-old in high school.
Yes, I'm talking about a 45-year-old man who's got 8-year-old boys and he's molesting them.
So it's the
castration
jury, right? Like,
yes,
right.
That's where it's up to debate. But
I agree.
When it's that bad,
I think a group,
castration.
I think a group,
and not just castration. Like we're not saying then we release them out in the world. Like they get the same sentence, but on top of whatever sentence, which is generally way too lenient, by the way.
Yeah.
They're nuts and their dicks off.
Yeah.
And I say this because it's crazy that there's no women pedophiles, really.
Well,
it's a man problem.
Not legally charged.
But have you heard of a lot of women that do these things?
I think this is a
same thing as serial killers. It's generally men.
I really think this is a slippery slope.
It is.
I really think this is not a path that you should go down.
No,
I think it should be general across the. I generally do.
Well, no, I'm not saying, but it's hard to castrate a woman, like harder than to a guy. Like I guess
that's the Africans.
Chop their clits off, but like that's not the same.
Well, it's more about
we cork their vaginas, right? We find a cork that fits them perfect and that just is lodged up there.
They might like that too much.
Yeah, they're right. So either way, this is just a kind of a broad thing.
But
it's a good idea.
I like it.
We both hate pedophile. Okay, now I always say I put words in your mouth, and you're always like, "Stop loving me in here." This channel, we hate pedophiles here. Okay?
No, I'm not.
Number one thing we hate.
Yeah.
We hate it.
I'm not gonna argue.
And I hope not. Fuck them and castrate them. Oh,
yeah. Because when you brought, I remember this is the one idea you brought up to me initially, maybe a month and a half ago. Right?
We don't share a lot of our lists, but
so this is the one idea that you and I could both agree on, and
it's 100%.
So I think my penalty was harsher than yours. I said that if they had raped a young person,
kill
No, I think they should get the same amount of rape times 10 in prison.
Right. Well, that's a given. But they can't do that now because they put them in special wings and shit like that. Like, Sandusky was not, available to the general public.
So that's kind of one of my things that we need to stop playing. Projecting people as the victim.
Throw them to the wolves, right? I like that too.
No, I think that there's a natural selection.
Yeah, castrate them and throw them to the wolves.
There's a natural selection to everything, and if you enable people to be the abstract, the outsiders, that's only going to enable more variations, and it's going to just almost encourage more confusion. So if there's a societal agreement, I think there's maybe a 90% more general agreement. I think that should be a definitive decision.
I like it. Right. So what do you got?
All right, so my first one, it's not as dramatic. I mean, I 100% agree with yours, but mine is to I think to reestablish education or reestablish society is to revamp education. And by that, I mean, when you're in school, let's say we're in middle school, high school, I think we need to focus more on real world obstacles like mortgages, rent.
Right. Prepare them for the real world.
Understand what interest rates are. We never ever learned anything about interest rates, mortgages, anything like taking out loans.
Yeah,
anything
they want to
like
teach
that.
Geometry.
But also, I'm hesitant to I think that education is getting it's getting too political now. It's
as is everything.
So so my idea is to revamp education to make sure that people understand not only how to manage loans and money, because I think that's the most important thing, because society is based on money. I think outside of language, the most important thing in society is
economics.
Yes, is having an economy, because once the economy fails, the society fails.
Right.
You can talk and you can have communication all you want, which
most people are not prepared at 18 to be able to.
I would guess that if you polled 100% of high school graduates, that 90% of them wouldn't know how to balance a checkbook.
No. Yeah. Even though now it's like different because I knew how I was at age.
Well, now it's Rocket Mortgage and all that bullshit.
Right.
But all those things are designed to take advantage of people.
Yeah.
Those are all businesses designed to make money.
That's a really good one, man.
So
teach people real world skills and prepare them for the real world.
Also,
that's what they say school's doing, but it's not.
Also,
right?
with the education, I want to emphasize this too. It's not just teaching them for the real world in terms of economics. It's teaching them the real world in terms of competition. I think that people are right now. Unfortunately, families are enabling the fact that there's no competition. Like everyone has a trophy, so to speak. Mm-hmm. I know this is a common thing, but I think one of the biggest things that helped me grow as a person socially was basketball, was sports. Like if I didn't play sports against you guys, I would never have been on the same level socially in my mind. The fact that I can compete with you socially, like sports wise, helped me understand how to communicate with you socially.
He used to be really shy.
Super
shy. We were just talking about that today.
Super shy. Like I was the shyest motherfucker in the world. Like the only reason I became friends with you guys is because someone flicked my glasses and they broke my lens. And I was about to punch the guy, and the guy didn't want me to punch his friends. Right. So he said, "Hey, hang out with us." And because of that, I understood how to react socially. That was the only reason, was because of competition. The fact that we're eliminating competition, to me, again with education, I think we need to emphasize sports. We need to emphasize scientific competition. Like, let's figure out how to make things better. Like, I think we're too content on the way things are.
He's not shy anymore, by the way.
Well, no, I am. I am 100%.
You weren't with me today. The thing is, we actually hung out for 3
hours.
I'm
not shy with you. I'm not shy with you.
I bring it out of you.
No, I'd be shy. I'm 100%.
That's the only way I got laid.
I'm shy and I'm agreeable with a lot of people. But I'm also I stand my ground a lot more. Yeah. So all I'm saying is, with education, I think we need to emphasize preparedness for the real world, and we need to emphasize preparedness for competition. because people are inherently competitive.
Yeah, I hope so.
In the fact that we're saying that everyone's equal makes us less competitive, which makes us less determined to be better than to advance ourselves. So if we want to go to Mars, we can't have just one guy. We can't have just Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, two companies, because they're going to monopolize that. We need to have a whole society decide that we want to go to Mars. We need to, as a society, decide that. Because if we don't have competitiveness, we're all just going to be content with where we're at, and no one's going to aspire for more. So I think I
like it. I do like it.
Revamp education, make sure that we emphasize competitiveness, make sure we emphasize growth.
Teach more real world shit.
And also, the real world right now, I don't agree with it, but the system is the way the system is. So we need to teach people about the system.
All right. My third one is or second one. Sorry, I had it as 3, but I'm going to put it as 2. Hot button issue. It's abortion. I don't understand why there's an issue with abortion. I feel like it's the woman's choice. So my law is that there is no law. If you want to have an abortion, have an abortion. If you don't want to, you don't want to. That's it. No guy has a fucking say in it. We shouldn't have a say in it. Now, obviously, in certain situations, I'd be more apt to be like, you should probably get an abortion. If I didn't want a kid, for instance.
Sure.
Why are you listening to me? Let the woman make the choice. I'm not saying everyone should have an abortion. I'm saying that no state, no country, nobody should tell a girl they can't. And now that is more just freedom, but also like there's too many people in this world. And we do know like some issues, some mental issues, a lot of stuff is, you're born with it, to be honest. But more than that is it's from your environment. So, we can kind of, if you're not ready to have a kid, you don't have a good backbone. Even if you do, guess what? You could fuck up that kid by being a bad parent.
Sure.
But if you're not ready, you're going to fuck up that kid. 100%. Like we've seen it time and time again. And it's the nature versus nurture, whatever the longest thing is. But I just feel like we should not be telling people they can't do that. It sucks. Some people say, you're killing a person. I don't see it like that. Like maybe I'm being cold. I'm just saying like it's also worse to bring a person in this world that, they're not ready to have. And there's already enough people in, adoption and all that shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's a slippery slope, and it's not a popular opinion, but...
Well, it's about 50-50.
Yeah. I think it shouldn't even be close to 50-50.
Yeah, so to me, I'm on... Of course, always, as you and I'm almost on the exact opposite side. Like, I think inherently people should have the opportunity at life.
So you think there should be no abortions?
Oh.
No.
I'm not going to say no abortions. I think rapes... But
that's not even a question, right? Like incessant rapes.
No, I think the real question is how you determine. Like, I think there's a question of how people determine what are rapes and like.
I don't think there's any. It shouldn't matter any of it. It's the woman's choice.
I don't think no.
Right?
No.
So you think no one should have a choice of that?
Inherently, a life is a life.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's an opportunity.
I get it, but you're not going to give that person a proper opportunity if you're born to shit.
How do you know? How do you know?
Some people suck, and if you suck and you have
there's a lot of people that suck, and there's a lot of people that are great.
And there's also people that come from shitty shit. And
Helen Keller. As I'm saying, people. All right,
I like that. It's nice that we have this. No, I didn't think you'd disagree with me here. So
which is funny because like, I think in a lot of terms I'm right wing, which.
I have no political stance.
No, in a lot of terms I'm left wing, so I'm curious why you think I would believe that one.
Because I think you're smart. I thought you were smart. Not anymore. You're out.
No.
I'm doing a solo pod from now on. You can see it on Thursday night.
No, so let me explain a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, by all means, dude. This is my Dictator list, and this is also just a super hot button list in general.
Yeah.
And we're living in America. This is a free
I'm
country.
not trying to discredit yours. I'm just trying to...
It also sucks because, there's dumb bitches that will take advantage of it and have 4 abortions, which I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it's got...
if you're not ready to have a kid, don't have a kid, because there's too many people already.
I agree.
And that's the problem.
So I guess my general belief is that you should be held responsible for what you do regardless...
Yeah, and that would be having the kid.
...of circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
And I know getting raped is not a circumstance that you can control.
Oh, well, that shouldn't be even a discussion.
100%.
Right.
I'm not saying that an abortion is not...
Cannot make that woman relive that night every day.
100%. 100%. I'm not. I don't know the answer. I'm not.
We're not talking about that. Let's talk about real life abortion.
All I'm going to say is I'm not going to pretend like I know the answer to that question.
You've never been raped?
I have not been raped.
I have.
Well,
I'm kidding. I have not.
So
how hot I am though.
Yeah. I felt like I've almost been raped. But
again, it's different.
It was more of like my male ego when I was drunk.
Yeah. It's not as bad as the other way around.
No, it wasn't like a butt rape. It was more like a girl tried to.
Oh, you're right,
bang me,
which is
right?
fine. Yeah. The butt rape we don't.
But I didn't want to bang her.
Yeah.
So like
essentially, almost.
My male ego, like, she should rape me.
My brother got raped.
I know. I just want to talk about family rapes.
No, I'm serious. A girl broke into our house, came into our house, and he was sleeping, and he woke up, and she was on him. And I'm like, dude, if you did that to a girl, you're going to prison.
Well, yeah, that's not how do you even explain that to a cop?
You can't. So he just was get the fuck out of here,
please.
No, I think she was blowing him. It wasn't he woke up and then not the worst thing to wake up to, but he didn't really like her.
Just a girl.
Weird.
No, so
sorry, but
let me just emphasize my point with the non-abortion thing. I disagree with that because I think it's a get out of jail free card for a lot of people.
And it is, yes, but I don't.
No, here's the thing. I'm guilty of being on both sides. I'm guilty of encouraging. I've had girlfriends that. I'm not saying I'm perfect.
Have you sent the order in?
Not me personally, no.
Has it happened?
Yeah, as far as I'm.
See, I have never had that issue, so
I.
Not to get too personal.
No. Here's I'm trying to think of the best way to verbalize it. It's for better or worse. It hasn't affected me the same way it's affected the girls. When we made the decision.
Yeah.
Because it didn't mean the same thing to me, and this is in the past too. It didn't mean the same thing to me in the past as it does now. I feel like I realize the value of a life, with the exception of rape and stuff like that. I didn't understand the value of a life prior, when I was in the situation, when I didn't want that life.
The thing is also...
I was very selfish, is what I'm saying.
The guy can never put themselves in the girl's shoes, so for a guy, it's much easier to tell the girl to have an abortion than the girl to have the abortion.
I'm not
you don't have to live with it as much, right?
I'm not going to give myself that credit. I was selfish.
No, I'm not talking about your experience. I'm saying in general, the guy... It's not as important. It's not as big of a deal for a guy.
Sure.
We don't have to live with it. We just tell him and we pay the $150. I don't know how much it is, but generally, if you're a nice guy, it's you being courteous.
$200.
Here you go. I'm going to pay for it. They got to live with that experience the rest of their life.
Not usually,
right?
It's not a common thing for me. I just want to say that.
No, I know. I mean, hence why I say that no guy. Also, one of my rules is no guy should ever even have an opinion on it. You right? We don't have the right to have an opinion on it. It's the girl's right.
So change the fact that we don't have a right.
Let's let the girls make the choice.
Change the fact that we don't have a right.
Well, dude, we're not the ones pregnant.
But it's our kid.
Doesn't matter.
How
they gotta fucking go through 9 months of labor. They gotta have the kid. They gotta mother the kid. They gotta get their titties sucked on. All right. Either way, I appreciate our back and forth.
I inherently disagree because.
All right, I know you do.
It's not just a 9 month thing for the wife.
Yeah,
it is a 9 month thing for the wife. It's a 18-year thing for the wife, but it's also a thing for the male. That's what we need to get off of. Is only about the.
It's more for the girl though.
No, that's what physically.
Yeah, bro. They can't work either way.
Guess who costs more money? Guess financially.
The guy.
That's what I'm saying. So socially, it affects the man.
So then you just have an abortion.
But you're killing someone.
Well, not really, but. I mean, I guess.
It depends on what you believe on life.
Okay. Well, see, I love this conversation, by the way.
Well,
Rob Squared is
It's a potential life. It's a potential life that is potential.
Well, we're not going to go anywhere in this conversation.
It has potential to be Einstein. It has potential to be
right. It
Tesla.
does. It also has potential to be Ted Bundy. So I mean,
so you
more likely to be Ted Bundy than Einstein.
So all right, let me ask you this: if you had the opportunity to go back and kill baby Hitler, would you?
Oh hell yeah!
Would you?
I don't know because the world turned out pretty decent, but
yeah. So how do
well, you love Hitler, so
no, I don't love Hitler. I'm fascinated by Hitler.
I know, I am too.
Because he's a fascinating
person. If I
could,
in history. Yes, I would. Yes.
So you go back and kill a baby.
But someone else would just.
But what?
Replace Hitler, right?
What?
Like,
all right. So world turned out fine with Hitler. You get rid of Hitler. What's different?
Nothing.
If anything, the United States becomes a superpower and become a dictatorship.
Yeah, no, we have Hitler. Yeah. All right, we got to get on to the next list because we were trying to get this video in 20 minutes. It's probably already been 20 minutes. So what's your number 2?
Number 2 is I got you.
And we're never gonna agree. No, abortion's just one of those things.
Yeah, you're right. You got to revamp healthcare. Just in general, it's.
You want Canada's healthcare?
No. Well.
Not charge you $1,000 for a walking cane.
I mean, so here's my very broad, general understanding of Canada's healthcare is.
They don't pay for anything. They pay.
No, you're paying for everything.
Yeah,
you're not
in taxes, but not.
Yeah, so you're paying ahead. That's not. I'm not trying to discredit any healthcare system. My point is that. We're too involved with companies. Like there's too much money involved in healthcare. We need to focus on the health of healthcare. We need to focus on the well-being of people. That should be the priority, not money. Like, in general, education, healthcare, the priority should be taking the money out of it and getting the good people in. Because there's good people that want to be teachers. We can find good people that want to be teachers. There's going to be less people initially. And there's going to be a learning curve for all of my laws that I have, healthcare, learning. There's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be
I wanted to bite your arm right there for some reason.
There's going to be a down period. There's going to be a where it looks like everything's getting worse because there's less healthcare people. There's less educators. There's less of all these people. So it's going to initially look. We need to revamp healthcare specifically because it shouldn't be about money. Which is what it's about. We're not focused on treating the problems. We're focused on treating the conditions. So you have, for example, I'll use me as an example. My father died, and so you have anxiety. So here's a bunch of Xanax. Right. Like that'll solve your father dying.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, it didn't help. We'll double your dose. All right. So here's double the Xanax.
Right.
Do you feel numb now? Like they're treating the symptoms, not the problem.
Yes.
So
you're talking more of a bigger, like you're not talking the financial aspect of healthcare. You're more talking.
No, 100%. It's all about financial because
you're talking about the way they go about it though, which is just prescribe people drugs that they think is going to help.
Too many people. Doctors are too eager to prescribe drugs because they make too much money. We need to take the money out of education. We need to take the money out of healthcare. Just take the money out of it and make them socially stable. Like if you, here's the thing is I'm assuming that as a dictator, I would have the best. I'm not saying that I would because power corrupts. As a dictator, I'm assuming that I'll have the best interests of the people for healthcare and I'll have the best interests for education.
Yeah.
So these are the assumptions I'm making that the power is not going to corrupt me. But right now, there's too much money in medicine. There's too much money in maintaining a condition versus treating the condition. So
same reason why we're not finding a cure for cancer because it's way more valuable not to. Right.
You treat the cancer.
This is I wanted to bring this up in the intro and I didn't. This is a nice little breaking point about that. Is the Tyler Skaggs thing. I kind of touched on this earlier. So Tyler Skaggs, pitcher for the Angels, died in 2019, OD'd. And so right now, like as of a day ago, I don't know what the position was he had, the guy in the organization had, but he was providing drugs to these players. And a lot of players, Matt Harvey, Cameron Bedrosian. There's a few other players.
So there's a new scandal.
So now they're coming forward saying that he got them drugs. So this guy just got sentenced 20 years to life.
MLB's fucked.
20 years to life. Because Tyler Skaggs had fentanyl, Oxycontin, and one other thing, and alcohol in the system. Right? But the point is that he was a drug addict. And whatever the position, he was almost like I told you, like a George Costanza, the assistant to the traveling secretary, whatever he was, man, dude, was getting these guys drugs.
Yeah,
which they would have got anyway.
But
I'm saying this motherfucker's making $1 million a year, right?
Yeah. I hear you.
He's traveling to all these different cities. You don't think he has connections to get drugs if he wanted to?
He's
obviously get it from the trusted
guy. He is
guy.
the connection,
right? And that guy was, but he would have had the connection.
He is the connection for the team. Like,
I get it. Yeah. But you don't think that Tyler Skaggs would have got drugs elsewhere if he wanted to?
Yeah, worse.
Come on.
Drugs.
Yeah, probably worse. So anyway, he ended up dying because obviously fentanyl just kills anyone that does it, which is... And the thing is, it wasn't something laced with fentanyl. He asked for fentanyl. Bro, don't do that. It's like, me personally, I have a connection to heroin. Like, I've never done it, but I have a family member that did, and I know all about it. And it's, I know all of his friends die. I know people, if you do heroin, you're probably going to die if you do it long enough. Fentanyl is 100 times worse than that, apparently. And if you're asking for fentanyl, like, why is this dude going to jail for almost his life? And it's the age-old thing of, drug dealer, drug addict, right? Like, because obviously you can't punish a drug addict who's dead.
Well, it's chicken and egg.
Dude.
It's a classic chicken and egg.
Do you think that guy should get 20 years to life?
No. I don't think drug dealers should.
It's crazy. Like, and I get you're dealing death, but they're always going to find it. And again, like, pharmacies deal drugs too, bro. So...
how many times have I told you, like, I'm fascinated in the reason why people do things?
Yeah.
Not the fact that people do things.
Yeah, so why?
I think people inherently do things if they're desperate, especially. Think of the movie Aladdin. Like, he's a good guy because he steals bread just to give to the monkeys and the poor kids, right?
Yeah.
But if you're a drug addict and you're stealing drugs
to support your habit,
you're a bad guy. So where's the line?
Yeah.
Where's the line drawn?
That's the thing. And then where's the line if you're the drug dealer? Like, I agree the guy should get some time. But 20 years of life for me?
Well, here's I think the real question is, what's the real punishment? Because we agree that the punishment's wrong.
What's the punishment?
Because the punishment's wrong. It's not helping anyone get better.
The fact that he died shouldn't affect his punishment. His punishment should be what the punishment is for selling those drugs. Right? Which is probably a pretty steep penalty. But 20 years of life for me is designated for rapists and murderers and shit. Like,
if you sell drugs, whatever you get convicted for selling, you should have to take in one dose.
And he died. Okay. Well, then he just died. But
that'll let you stop selling drugs.
This guy essentially is dead because he's going to jail for like 40 years, dude. It's just crazy. Like, what? I understand he did something wrong.
Genuine question. Like, what's the right answer?
I think he should go to jail for 3 to 5 years.
So you agree that there should be a rehab of the criminal system, right? Like,
100%.
Yeah.
God damn. Like, especially the drug system. Like, this isn't even on my list. Me either. No, it might be on the list, but like
the fact that you're talking about,
it's in the news now, and like I know about Tyler Skaggs. I remember when it happened, and like his family now is the one pushing to like fuck this dude who sold the drugs, even though he did the drugs. He knew the drugs he was doing, and he died. So that's his fault, dude. Like,
you and I both had people in our families that have been heavily influenced by drugs.
Yes.
Right. So we can both appreciate this,
and we've both.
So like generally what's like, I think you and I
punish the seller, like, because you can always get drugs, bro. It's not about.
But how do you stop the cycle? That's the question.
The thing is, whatever they're doing now with
it's not about who you
punishing
punish.
people, that
it's not about who you
punish. It's not stopping
the punishment.
The cycle.
Doesn't matter.
No,
like,
you don't.
It's the same way as if you used to spank your kids back in the day.
Yeah.
Now they're going to be violent. Like you don't stop.
You're only
perpetrating violence.
It ain't going to be stopped.
You're only perpetrating drug.
All you can do is raise awareness.
Exactly. So what's the best way to do that?
This isn't the way. I don't know. There's no way.
I think education. Education is the best way to do it. There's a lot of shit that people don't.
Well, in DARE back in the day, they taught you not to smoke weed. Let's be honest, dude.
Now it's legal.
Yes. So that was all fucking bullshit.
Exactly.
Like, although we both agree weed's a terrible gateway drug, But whoop-de-doo, everything's a gateway drug, bro. Caffeine, like, get the fuck out. Alcohol is the worst drug. Guess what we're doing? Legally, son. Cheers.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
no, I think it's yeah.
All right, I'm getting to my number 3.
Go ahead, and I'll do mine.
Public urination.
Oh.
Now.
Interesting.
This goes along with number 1.
Okay.
That if you get 2 warnings, apparently. But if you get caught, like, again, back to
like
Seinfeld.
pissing in a bar or something.
If you get caught outside pissing, 2 times, you're a fucking sex offender. And with my first thing of the castration, like, once you're a sex offender, when you are a sex offender, you have to go to door to door and tell them you're a sex offender. And obviously, everyone, even if you're a diddler, is going to be like, oh, I just pissed somewhere. Like, you can never distinguish. Like, a sex offender is a sex offender. It ruins your life. Yeah. Every job application, everything is ruined by it. So pissing twice in public, which sometimes is necessity. How many times do you piss in public?
More than twice.
Dude, I piss in public. I just did.
More than twice. I've been pissing out. I haven't gone to my bathroom. Public.
It's always. I'm just saying, dude. In Chicago, sometimes it's hard to find a bathroom.
I'm hesitant to say I would be a sex offender if a cop had to be walking back in my backyard.
In your backyard, no. But if you're in the city,
but that's all it takes.
You're in the city.
So all right. So assume that we
truck drivers have to deal with this a lot. They have to pull off the side of the road.
Well, they piss in bottles and they pour them out.
No, but sometimes they just go to the side of the road.
Sure.
If they get caught twice, they are essentially Michael Jackson. Even though Michael Jackson wasn't even a sex offender, right? Like, that's bullshit.
As Dictator, I'm gonna overrule that law.
Get rid of that. Right?
Oh, so you don't? Okay. So
no, I'm saying they're not sex offenders.
Oh, good.
Yeah. There's maybe 10 times if you're like a serial pisser. Like, once you piss 10 times, I don't know,
if you got caught pissing like on a school, if you got caught with your dick out on a schoolyard like 4 times,
or
twice, like that's
a
more
park in the daytime.
No,
yes,
yeah.
Anywhere public, which could be a fucking
common
field,
knowledge, man. Like that should be like
that is one that I'm telling you, that's a for sure law, dude. If you get caught, it could be in the side of the road.
I agree.
Dude.
I 100% agree. Protect the kids as much as we can. I think overprotect the kids.
This has to do with like truck drivers and shit, and like if you're drunk at a bar, or you pissing outside.
Yeah, fuck that, dude. Like, have common knowledge.
If there's a 6-year-old walking in an alley at a bar, that's the parent's problem. Don't let him walk.
Yeah, 2 in the morning.
Come on, man. So that's just a simple cut and dry one. That was my first one. Like,
all right.
I'm not against all sex offenders because these aren't sex offenders, but somehow they become sex offenders.
It ruins their life.
Yeah, it does.
It ruins their life. Yeah.
All right, what do you got? Number 3.
So this one's not as harsh, but this is something that I truly believe in. It's researching the seas and the oceans. Like, I feel like we're too focused on space.
Oh.
So apparently,
I love space.
Apparently, less than 5% of the ocean floors have been discovered. Mm-hmm. I feel like we have so much potential underwater that we haven't realized. As Dictator, one of the first things I would do is emphasize some government programs to encourage not only like rewriting the maps a little bit on top of the seas, but going under the ocean and discovering the seabeds, because we have no idea what's going on.
We really don't. Yeah.
We've researched the ocean beds less than we've researched the.
We know our solar system more than we do our oceans, which is crazy.
There's so much potential underneath. Like, genuinely, I think we're talking about like moving to other planets versus like moving underwater. Like,
makes more sense, actually.
Well, there's so much potential on Earth still. We're already worried about giving up Earth and moving somewhere else. I feel like we're not focusing on what we have. We're focusing on what we could have.
And the Earth is 78% water.
So as Dictator, one of my priorities would be, outside of revamping the education and revamping healthcare, would be make sure we revamp our priorities. Priorities would be here on Earth. I'm not saying we wouldn't prioritize out in space and making sure that we understand and research it, but I think we do that a lot. Like, our budget for NASA is only like $50 million a year. Our defense budget is like $500 million a year.
Yeah.
So, just a fraction of that.
That's a weird one. I did not see you going there.
Well, there's less than 5%.
Yeah.
Like, we don't like. When Columbus discovered, it wasn't even Americas, but it was the Caribbean.
Don't get me going on Columbus.
No. But my point is like, what we determine as the discoveries of America was 400 years ago,
mm-hmm.
like not that far ago.
No.
And essentially, what we stopped doing was searching the oceans.
Right. We discovered
land. We decided we understood what it was.
Right. Yep.
Same thing.
We know where everything's at, guys.
Same thing as in the 70s. We decided we understood what the moon was about. We stopped sending people there. Like, there's so much more to discover. I think
I'll give you that.
So I think the reason America became so successful was because not only World War I, World War II, it was because it galvanized us. It kind of it made us it helped us grow as a singularity, but also it was an era of discovery. Like, so this is back in the time when like World War I and World War II, we were only 100 years away from the Revolutionary War. Like, we literally just galvanized as a country.
Right.
Like,
the Industrial Revolution literally put all that shit to a stop because we were trying to figure out ways to make money.
Yeah. So right. after the Civil War, not revolution. After the Civil War, what happened was we galvanized the country, and then we grew as a superpower for a little bit. Once we realized, once we just established that we could beat something like Britain or we had France as an ally, but once we beat Britain, like, okay, now we're actually something that has influence on the world, right? And then we had World War I, World War II, and I don't know, it just galvanizes even more. And then we became a superpower, and then we just grabbed onto that power, and now we're too hungry for that power. We won't let. Unfortunately, like, our history, it's so shallow. We don't realize that the history we talk about is only like 100 or 2 years, like literally 100 years old.
Our country's a baby, man.
Just 300 years old. Like, ancient Rome was around for 3,000 years.
We shit on
3,000 years.
It's crazy.
And we're around for 300, and we think we're the premier superpower of existence.
Yeah.
We think we're the pinnacle. And we're about to collapse right now.
Even though the entire existence of our continent was Native Americans.
Yeah, we have no history. We have no history outside of 250 years ago.
Guess what? Your history shit is gone. We take it over.
But no, the thing is that history's been around for 50,000 years.
All right, you ready for a light one, a good one?
So yeah,
I have a good one. Number 4.
Yeah.
Designated drunk driving hour.
Oh,
it's a good one.
Yeah.
So, the DUI laws in this country are they're crazy.
Elaborate on that a little bit before you go into your.
Well,
what don't you like about it?
It's an arbitrary number that now I currently have a breathalyzer that I use, and because I'm sick of guessing, and sometimes I still drive them over, whatever. But like, no one knows what the fuck over the limit is, so I have an issue with that. So I want a drunk driving hour where it sucks for like the third shift workers or wherever the shift is, where you got to drive to work, or if you're traveling. Well, it's more for me like the purge. Get the fuck off the road, man. Like, in the purge, everyone locked themselves in their house because you can murder anyone or whatever. So 2 to 3 a.m. I'm kind of proposing drunk driving hour, no DUIs.
All right, what's the benefit of that, though?
The benefit is that you're gonna have less people driving from 10 to 1 drunk. They're like, well, I have my drunk driving hour. I'm good to go. I'll just wait till 1 or 2, whatever we want to make it. On the Dictator. I think it's solid. You can drive as drunk as you want, and the thing is, deaths will go down because it's proven fact. If you're drunk, you're not going to really die in an accident.
You kill the people that are sober.
Yeah, so but there won't be sober people, and you drive your own risk if you're sober. The thing is, there's so many drunk drivers out there from 10 to 3 in the morning. It's dangerous.
Here's my argument I would make for that law, is that everything should be legal in your own home. Once you leave your home, now you're risking everyone else's life.
Yes, that's why I have the drunk driving hour.
Well, there should be no drunk driving hour.
Well, I just made that a law in my place. So.
Sure. Yeah,
I think it's pretty cool, pretty fun. It's kind of a joke. But like,
it made me think.
I think it could be solid.
Because I agree with you that people should be able to do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
They should be able to take whatever drug they want, right?
Yeah.
But I inherently disagree with what you're saying.
Most people would, but I think it's fun.
You're the
just don't drive. If you're not drunk, then just be careful on the roads because you're gonna have a bunch of drunk drivers.
All right, so
which you're probably gonna have anyway from that time, right?
Well, I think that
you know what I'm saying.
The fact that we say you can do whatever you want, like you're never gonna get called for.
Well, what percentage of drivers do you think are drunk from 2 to 3 a.m. anyway, dude? Like half. You know what I mean? Like quite a bit, dude.
I think that the answer to that is invest in public transportation.
Now it's easier with Uber, but
well, just imagine.
Maybe
buses.
I'm living in the past. Buses, Jesus Christ!
What are you talking about?
All right, what's your number 4?
All right,
what you
so
got?
I had revamp education, revamp healthcare, research the ocean and seas, and then number 4 is reinforce free speech. And reinforce speech. So what?
Oh, you pissed. You're good.
No.
What we're doing right now, right? It's free speech.
No. So what I mean by that is I'm genuinely afraid. Like I try not to talk about it, but I try not to get political about it. I'm afraid of how speech is being controlled now. Like it's.
You were just talking about Rogan, man. How he's apologizing for other people.
He
crazy. I mean,
he talks to other people.
Rogan,
it's.
He should not be the one apologizing. If he's apologizing, we're all apologizing at this point.
No, but everyone should be able. My point here's my point: is everyone should be able to have their opinion. Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. Doesn't matter if it's ludicrous or if it's 100% in line with what everyone else is saying.
Yeah.
Everyone should have their right, no matter what.
I agree.
It doesn't fucking matter. There's no 100% no. There's nothing. Like people should have the right to decide what they believe. 100%.
Yeah. No more censoring. No more.
And I believe
canceling people. Right.
Yeah. People can have their opinion. People can hate what they say, and they have the right to say what they want to say about that person, and that person has the right to say what they want to say, and everything else will work. Like I think society works itself out that way. I think society will filter itself out that way. The fact that we're trying to determine what's right and what's wrong is only going to push people away, especially because what's determined right and wrong right now is so political.
And it's also determined by who says what's wrong.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's political. It's not indiscriminate. It's 100% discriminate. That's right. That's wrong.
Right. Like, and for what? Like, what is your motivation to
money.
Say this is
that's
wrong?
The money.
Right.
It's all money.
I like that.
So that's what I'm saying. When you get money away from education, when you get money away from healthcare, when you get money away from speech, that we need, like.
See, he took this way more serious than I did.
No.
I like it. You did a lot more work.
No, I didn't. No.
I bet you're going to disagree with my last one.
Disagree? You think
yeah,
so?
I think you do. I'm going to ban lawyers.
Okay. Why so?
I want everything to be a public defender. Now, what I want to do is raise... Public defenders are criminally underpaid.
Yeah.
Lawyers are criminally overpaid, depending on how good they are.
Sure.
Right? So I want to kind of bridge the gap and get just everyone, like, everyone's a public defender. I don't want O.J. Simpson shit happening, right? I don't want the divorce cases. Whoever's got a better lawyer in the divorce case gets all the shit.
It used to be the mom.
Yeah, but also now it's the lawyer, dude.
Well,
if you have a better lawyer, you might fuck the girl over. Like, I don't want any of that shit, dude. I want, you said, this is one we actually talked about, is you said now you have the judge, jury, and executioner. Now you don't have the power of a good lawyer.
Yeah.
It is probably going to fuck some innocent people over. But they're already getting fucked over anyway. So I don't want the blatant guilty celebrity getting away with shit. R. Kelly, Michael Jackson, O.J. Simpson, dude. Like, the list goes on. Like, dude, so the list goes on and on.
So essentially, right? You don't want the court of public.
I don't want you to be able to buy your freedom,
judgment.
Dude. You can't buy your freedom.
You don't want.
Let's let the facts.
You don't want celebrity to.
Let's let the facts dictate, right? Epstein, literally.
So how do you change that?
By only letting you don't get to control your lawyer, dude.
Well, here's the thing: as a dictator, you're the person to dictate. Like you have to have a set law. You have a set rule, right? You can't just say, I get to dictate who is right and wrong, because that... I'm
not dictating anything. I'm just saying you can't choose your lawyer. The lawyer is appointed to you like it is to everyone else.
By whom?
By the state.
But you're the state.
Well, maybe...
So you dictate who defends the person.
It's a fucking flip of a coin, man.
My point is, you may think this person is guilty or not. You get to determine who defends that person.
I got too much on my plate. I ain't worried about that.
But as the person that is getting defended by the person you decide... You understand what I'm saying? Like, if I was to go to court and you decide Let's say I was
Whoever's
arguing you're a bad fantasy player. You said this guy's fucking totally wrong. Here's his lawyer, and you're my lawyer.
Yeah.
Like, how is that fair to me?
It's not.
But you're the dictator, so it's okay?
No, I'm saying it's all random, and I just... More innocent people may be convicted, but I promise you the guilty people will be found guilty,
I'm asking you, who dictates, like, you say everyone's a public attorney. What dictates the public attorney?
The same way it's dictated now. I don't know how it's dictated now, but it's dictated now, right?
You're the boss.
Yeah, how do people get appointed public defenders now?
Whoever the budget is for.
There you go. That's what we're doing now.
It's shitty.
Well,
so change it. Why
is it shittier?
Why are you going to do the same? You're saying you're going to do the same thing. That's shitty.
Well, is it shittier than OJ getting 6 lawyers and getting off on murder?
Doesn't. But what are you going to do different? Like, you're saying you're going to do the same thing, but on your rules.
Well, I don't know. I haven't really gone into the details of this because
I think it's worth the conversation. So, I agree with you, and I don't know the answer either.
Yeah.
So I think it's worth the conversation.
I don't know. I just know I don't like the fact that people can buy, especially in these R. Kelly, Epstein cases. Like,
I think there's a conversation. Like, you and we're at court.
Yes.
Who would you want to defend you? Let's say I controlled the court.
Cochran.
No, let's say
I'm white. Shit, no, I don't want that.
I'm going to assume that I can. Let's say you assume I control the court. And I'm going to assume you control the court. Mm-hmm. Who would you want to defend you, and who would I want to defend me?
I don't know. The highest price lawyer I could afford.
So it's all about money.
Yeah, because they're going to do the best job.
That's what you want to get rid of.
Yeah.
So how do we make it? My point.
The person being charged doesn't have control over who he has as a lawyer.
Yeah, so that's my question: is how do we determine that?
I don't know. No, that's something we got to work out another day. But I'm just telling you the gist of it.
No, I think we need to have that question right now.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not.
So I'm saying, if you were in the position of fighting against the person that dictates everything, the dictator, the judge, the jury, who would you want to represent you?
Well, the thing is, I'd most likely be innocent of the charges. And I'm saying, if I was guilty, then how I go? No,
exactly. Everyone's going to assume they're guilty. That's what my point is. Like, who do you want to defend you if everyone's against you?
If I'm innocent, it doesn't matter.
All you're saying is everyone's against you.
I'm a white male. I'm fine.
But let's say
If my name was Jamal, it'd be different.
No, stop that black shit, dude.
Just being honest.
No, all I'm saying is I decide that I'm the judge, I'm the jury, and I assign you a defender.
Yeah.
Would you feel it's fair?
No.
So who would you want to defend you? That's the question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Answer
the best person for the job.
But who? Someone that's unbiased, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's.
But now I'm affording my lawyer, and I don't want that, dude.
Not worry about money. So we're saying the person that's unbiased. So we're starting with that step because I'm going on this journey with you. I don't know the answer either.
Yeah.
So we're going on the journey together. So we're going to say the person that's unbiased. But if there's let's say we're in a society where everyone's biased. How do we find someone that's unbiased? That's the question, right?
Yes. Very tough.
So what's your initial thought? How do we find someone that's unbiased?
The person unbiased is the person you pay a shitload of money because they're going to be unbiased because you paid them a lot of money.
And that's probably what's wrong with society, right?
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to take away.
So the bottom line of what you're saying is there should be no financial incentive for representation.
There should be no advantage for being
There's no
rich.
Financial representation.
Yes.
No financial.
Hence, all public defenders.
For representing someone.
Yes.
Yeah. And we need to emphasize that somehow. We need to emphasize. We need to make those people important.
It'll be difficult.
Yeah, but I think what you're saying is it takes time. We need to paint these people that do this for the right of the law. We need to paint these people as heroes.
Opposed to money.
Instead of saying this person earned a lot of money, so they're a hero.
Right.
This person did the right thing, so they're a hero. That's what the society needs to do, is prop the people up to do the right thing, not the people that earn a lot of money. Right? So this is what I'm thinking out loud as we talk about it.
I know you disagreed at first, but there is there's a way it works. I don't know what it works.
I don't have an argument to what you're saying.
Right.
Because I would say the same thing. Right? The law should be this way because I said it should be.
Yeah,
that's what's right.
If you're guilty, you're guilty. If you're not, you're not.
But how do you
And you're always going to be maybe guilty if you're not, and not guilty if you're guilty. But this could kind of level the playing field. Yeah. So, all right, number 5 for you
is that I am, and this is a pretty right wing thing. It's that state, local, and religious area have their. I think they should have influence over their areas. I think that the federal government should be a more oversight for a general protection. The way it was designed initially was that there's state laws that are overseen by a general government.
And overseen by the Constitution.
Yeah, which is evaporated because now it's the federal government that the states abide to. I think it should be more. I just think there would be less confrontation because like just think of the United States culturally. You go to California, to Texas, to Arizona, to Louisiana, to Florida, to North Carolina, to Illinois, to Michigan. Like they're all different cultures. They're just different beliefs, different social, just everything. And I think there should be a much more significant balance. But like the federal government, the general government has way too much power over the general public. Like, I think it should be more like Europe, where it's this. Like there's different cultures, obviously.
Right.
Like to take away those cultures and to say you have to be like this, you have to accept these laws, is ridiculous. And on top of that, I also think that I mentioned religion. I think that every single religion should have much like Congress has a spot in government, religion should have a similar influence in government.
Ew.
Simply because I think that impacts a lot of culture. Like
it does.
Well, government is more about culture. It's not about rule, which is what we're like, this is what we're wrong about now. Government is too worried about ruling people.
Which we would be if we were dictators.
No, that's what I'm trying to get away from. It is who wants to like look at the way.
Is this your campaign speech, by the way, for being dictator?
No.
Because I think you might be winning some people over.
No. Just legit. Like so. There's so many different cultures, but at the end of the day, we have a singular belief in freedom. Like that's the idea. Our ideas of freedom are different. I think we can balance those together. I don't think that we need to make it a broad stroke thing. Like the fact that we're trying to broad stroke and no one can be racist, no one can be this, no one can be that. I think there's going to be different people in different areas. If you don't want to involve yourself with that, you don't go to that area.
Right. I like that.
I think there's always going to be different people.
You're talking about like almost like how Europe is essentially each country. It's almost like a state, but they have way more rule than.
I don't think humanity was designed to. I think humanity was designed to be a communist type community where everyone works together, like small groups.
Yeah,
I don't think communism works. The reason communism doesn't work is because people get corrupt with power.
Yeah, it's a great idea. We both agree with that, right?
Like communism doesn't work for a country. Communism works for a small area.
Yeah, city or
state. And I think it's essential for a small area because you keep track of,
or a union, like
sure.
that. Like it works.
And if you try and do that with a broad area, and then you try and broadcast it around the world, I mean, God bless. Like you're going to get so much rebellion. You're never going to get everyone on the same page. But if you get small groups to work in
unison.
Thank you. In unison, yeah. If you get small groups to work in unison, a continent could be a super powerful thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be powerful. They can all work in unison. Like we don't have to fight each other. It doesn't have to be. Competition is a healthy thing, but as I was saying earlier, like in education, I think we need to emphasize competition. We need to make sure we emphasize sports or chess or that we need to emphasize competition so people understand
ping pong,
whatever it is. So young people understand that there's going to be conflicts and there's ways to handle the conflicts. You can handle the conflict in a certain way. Growing up, we play basketball with people, and it's people that handle loss a lot worse than other people.
Yeah, they cry.
Yeah, they bitch and moan and complain and make excuses. Cry, But then there's people like, man, good game.
Right.
You just beat me. But then they come back and whoop your ass next time.
Mm-hmm.
And then guess what? You come back and whip their ass. And back. And you learn how to, like, I swear, like, I learned how to socialize through competition. Like, I learned how to...
Sports is a big way to bring people together. And,
it doesn't have to be
life lessons, dude.
It's competition. Like, the fact that we're taking away competition, everyone has an award, is the worst thing that can happen to us. I believe that.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan.
I hate it. I genuinely.
Softies,
competition
man.
was the reason I made friends. If it wasn't for sports, I would be. I probably would have killed. I'm not even. I would have killed myself. Like I would have been done. Like there's no. I wouldn't have had friends. There's no. I made friends because of competition. I learned how to be friends. I learned how to understand and relate to people. I learned how to accept loss, how to accept embarrassment, how to accept embarrassing someone, and not being,
shoving it down their throat.
Exactly, not counting your money at the table, right? Mm-hmm. Like, so.
I like it. Yours are a lot more poetical than mine, but they were deep. I like them.
No, yours are good too. I like yours too. Yours raised a lot of questions with me. Like they inherently like, oh man, I didn't think of that.
Yours are more like broader spectrum, like
sure,
issues.
Yeah.
But hell yeah, dude. All right, so Rob's ranks, and we tried to get this one shorter, but I'm sure it wasn't. But we have a lot to say, and it was fun, and we're gonna be back. Don't you worry about that, right?
What do you say about redoing this real quick?